NBA action last night, I guess to some surprise, the Celtics put together quite a great performance yesterday against the Knicks to stay alive down 3-1 in their building, winning 127-102. Dare I say the Knicks should be sweating a little bit? Is that unfair to say?
Yeah,
and we wrote them off, we wrote the Celtics off.
I still do. I'm not one of those people today banging the drum for the Celtics. Jaylen Brown played great. And I told you.
They hit threes.
I told you on the show last night. I said if Jaylen Brown shows up, this is going to be a tough game. Lo and behold, they were able to win the game at home. Now, Kyle, if the Knicks lose Game 6, oh, dude.
Well, if it goes to a Game 7, yeah.
Kyle, if they lose in Madison Square Garden, I'll hit the panic button. But I got all the faith in the world that they're going to be able to close this out without Jayson Tatum. I do. Get them back at MSG. Get the organ going. They do an organ, yeah. Get the organ going at MSG. All right, they'll be all right.
That's going to be a huge game,
dude. It's a must-watch TV. Not a huge game.
Celtics play well, they can still beat the Knicks. If they play well, they could beat the Knicks.
Colin, that is the game at this point in the NBA playoffs. I think it's fair to say that that's the game I'm most forward-looking for. That I am
most looking for.
There you go. It's the most anticipated game so far from me as an uber basketball fan. I can't wait to watch that.
The Celtics can still beat them head-to-head if they shoot well.
Tough on the road, man.
It's a very tricky spot. I agree. No Jayson Tatum. But if they hit threes and the Knicks don't, and the Knicks don't hit threes every game, they played great in Game 4. They haven't really played great in any other game since then, and they're up 3-1.
And Derek White, 34 points, man. Like
he's capable of that.
He is. I mean, he was on the Olympic team. I think he's an all-star. 40 minutes, by the way. They rode him. Yeah, they had to. They rode him.
Luke Cornett had 7 blocks.
Yeah, dude, they got a lot. I mean, Kyle, the bench production alone with Pritchard 17 and Cornett's 10. Sam Hauser tallying 6 as well. That wasn't on my bingo card.
If they could do that, if they could hit threes, they could be a dangerous out. Who do you think Indiana wants to face?
Indiana's sitting here, licking their chops to play somebody after destroying the Cavs. Who do you think they want to see?
That's a good question. I would be under the impression they want to see Boston in Boston's current form. But if they think that if I don't know what NBA teams feel about the Knicks. I know how I feel. They're tough. That's like sort of their mantra. They're not necessarily going to outscore you every game, but they're going to out-tough you. They're going to outplay you, but they're not going to outscore you.
Yeah.
So that's my broad takeaway of the Knicks. I'm not sure what the Pacers think there. Do they think we want to out-tough and out-pressure the Celtics, or do we want to get into a slugfest with the New York Knicks, who will probably have a little bit more firepower then, but the Knicks have some juice? I would lean to stay away from the team with the juice.
Kyle, I think they want to see the Knicks, and here's why. Boston is they do a better job of being a finesse team than Cleveland. We've talked so many times about how Boston's losing this series because they're not hitting their shots. Isn't that true, though? Like, look at last night. They shoot almost 45% from the line and run the Knicks off of the court in the second half. The Celtics could do that to anybody in the NBA. And I think the Pacers, and I've said this multiple times, so I'm going to have to hold to this. I said the Knicks play a better brand. So the Knicks and the Pacers.
I think you're completely wrong there, but go ahead.
The Knicks and the Pacers, I think, play a very similar brand. I think the Knicks play a better brand of bully ball, physical ball, get in your face ball. I don't think they want to see the Knicks because they play similarly. So we'll have to wait. We'll have to wait and see what happens here. I don't know. I think when it comes to the Celtics, they could torch you from the line. I think Indiana's scared of that. I also think Indiana is scared of the way that the New York plays. If I had to make a decision, I think they would much rather see the Knicks because they know the brand of basketball.
Yeah, they know that basketball. The thing about it is I would be a little turned off by the juice that New York would have in that spot. The New York Knicks would be buzzing if they make it within striking distance of a very attainable championship appearance, finals appearance.
But the Pacers have kind of bought into the, hey, let's do it. You know what I mean? Like their culture right now, and the way they're flying.
This is it. No, they could totally win.
Yeah, dude. And like they had the belief. I'm not necessarily worried about
they're buzzing,
that.
but like the thing about it is Indiana's buzzing, but they played 2 5-game series. The Knicks eking one out in 6 after eking one out in 6 against the Detroit Pistons, doing it again against the Celtics, playing a little bit more tougher branded teams. They played this. The Pistons are a tough-nosed team. They beat them. Celtics, like you said, like to shoot threes, hang around the perimeter. They space it out. They beat them. The Knicks have now beaten 2 different types of teams. My thinking is that Indiana is going to want to avoid that because of just momentum. They're healthy. They're clutch, too. What is Indiana very good at? They're clutch. They make late game plays.
Never dead. They're
Steals.
never dead.
They come back from 7+ in the fourth quarter and overtime in the last minute twice this postseason. They've been able to close teams out. Halliburton hits the game winner in game 2. They're clutch. They hit big shots. So do the Knicks. The Celtics haven't done that. The Celtics either kill you or they lose. That was why I would be leaning on the side of they would rather, by a marginal degree, I think they'd rather see Boston just because of no Tatum and because they saw them last year and were right with them the entire series.
The Knicks are still minus 275 to win the series. The Celtics sit at plus 220. Now that's gambling math. That's the Vegas bookie math. Give me the Russo and Rizzo percent chance Boston pulls off the improbable 3-1 comeback without Jayson Tatum.
You know, the funny thing is, for the majority of the second half, I would say from the third quarter on, Boston was in complete control of this game.
Yeah.
Complete control. So you're telling me that for half the game, they completely controlled the Knicks, a little under half. I can't say that they're completely out of it. I can't. They almost still got the firepower where just if they get hot, the Knicks don't have the firepower to match it. What would I give it in terms of percent chance? I don't know if this is too high. I'd say 30.
I was going to go a quarter, 25. I give it 25.
Roll it 10 times. I think 3 of them has Boston coming back.
The only reason I'm there is because of how well Jaylen Brown played. Brown distributed too. He had 12 assists on top of, a really good game shooting.
He needed to have one of the better games of his career.
And if that bench is going to provide 35 points, the Knicks might be in some trouble. But we've seen Boston go cold the first 2 games. They went cold and, outside of Tatum, let's call a spade. Outside of Tatum in game 4, everybody else was cold. And the Knicks have won in that building. They've won in that building. They've won twice. Even if it does go to a game 7, I'm going pure doomsday here. Even if it does go to a game 7 without Tatum, I still like the Knicks' chances, man. So I don't know. I would take the Knicks. I've been high on the Knicks all postseason long. They've won me a lot of money with our good friends at Hard Rock Bet. I'm going to keep riding that train.
We've got a couple of wise guys here. You guys are on the money because the literal percent chance that the American gambling odds are telling us is that the Celtics have a 26.7% chance to do this.
I mean, 3 in a row. Are you going to win 3 in a row without Tatum? If they do,
but now it's 2 in a row.
Understood. But if they do, tip your cap. I'll go with the Knicks still. I think it's New York's. I say this, and I'm a miserable Cat fan. It's New York's year to go to the finals. It's finally that team's year to have some enjoyment. I can't promise you they're going to beat Oklahoma City.
The Knicks,
but I think the Mecca, Christian, the Mecca, New York, baby. The outside courts, summer hooping, baby. It's coming.
The Knicks are only 2.5-point favorites at home. So it's very, very, very possible. It's close to a coin flip game that Boston wins Game 6. Boston, a tie series going back to the TD Garden. Oh, it's going to feel like the weight of 1,000 elephants are on the shoulders of the Knicks players in that moment.
Yeah, the pressure. They've
won twice.
They've flipped the pressure here.
They've won twice.
Celtics had the pressure to win the series. They had the pressure to get back into the series. And then the second Tatum goes down, all the expectation goes out the window. Well, all of a sudden they turn into an underdog. Well, does that suit them more?
The Knicks have theme, magic, and mojo on their side. No, still do. They wanted to close it out in front of the fan.
If the Knicks won every single game at TD Garden, I think that there should be the powers that be should remove the word garden from TD. it should be the TD Arena. It should not be. It should be Madison Square Garden. That's the only garden you have in the NBA now. Winning all three in Boston would have been ridiculous.
It's like an imperialist. Like,
yes.
we take your title. We take your title. All right, number 2.